On this week's episode of 420 Central TV, we are interviewing the Canna-Club. We're also going to be having some curated informative content. Stay tuned on your favorite 420 Central TV. Good afternoon, it's Friday afternoon, it's 4:20, and you know what happens at 4:20. Time for you to light a doob. So we've been away a little while and we've had a couple of challenges that have not allowed us to bring you the podcast in the last week or two, but we're really happy to be back, and we've got a fantastic lineup for you today. We caught up with Harry's and Bertie from the Canna-Club, who do a podcast show, and they were people that were inspirations to us in terms of the beginning of our journey. So straight into the questions and chatting with them after this. A very good afternoon to you two guys, Harry's, Bertie. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show with us this afternoon. You've been an inspiration to us on our journey, and the coverage that you've managed to give to many people within the cannabis industry, we're really grateful for. So to start off, just to find out from you, give us a little bit of an intro, tell us a bit about who you are.
My name is Albertus van Jaarsveld. I'm the PRO of the Canna-Club and form part of the executive committee. My duties here are mostly related to the media and the social media platforms. So I handle our website and all our content on the media channels, and just make sure that that's active and aligns with our goals, and puts out a positive message to advancing the cannabis movement throughout South Africa.
My name is Herman van der Walt, commonly known as Harry's. So I'm the GM of the Canna-Club, also one of the founders of the Canna-Club. We've been busy with the Canna-Club now for the last 5 years, and we all round, we just always trying to promote the cannabis space. That's the kind of area where we like to be in. That's pretty much it, who I am. And then we've been doing these podcasts and just trying to get the word out to everybody, trying to explain the way we see the cannabis space to everyone. Furthermore, I'm also one of the head growers here at the Canna-Club, so I do a lot of the outside work. So the Canna-Club opened up in the late months of 2018. We've now been going for almost 5 years. Later in this year, we'll be going to the 5-year stage. It's a cannabis social club, and we're very fortunate to be able to be sitting at 3,000 members plus minus at the moment. We work a little bit differently to other clubs. For us, it's free to enter. There's no cover charge when you walk into the doors. You have to sign up as a member. However, if you want to know any of the intricacies,
just quite an important point that I want to add to that is the Canna-Club is based on an international model. It's not a new model that we discovered. It's called ENCOD, European Coalition for Just and Effective Drug Policies, and this is a model that has been established all over the world, and we just sought that as an ideal fit for our current legal environment in South Africa. Mm-hmm. So we're just working with that to create opportunities for our community, and also to create awareness and education around that.
We're always busy doing community projects. For instance, we give clones to the Rastas, we give growing equipment, we're always there for support. We do free educational Fridays where people can come through, and we just teach whatever part of the planting process they want to know about. We'll run through with them. Bertie just released a whole range of free courses and stuff like that, the first of its kind as far as I know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But completely free of charge, so there's no barrier to entry on these courses and everything, and we're just trying to spread that information. So that's some of the stuff that we've been working on. And further than that, try to keep the cannabis space a nice and healthy and clean environment, and preserve the good energy, the good intent that the cannabis space have always had.
And also make it accessible to everyone, you know, that you don't need these millions for licenses or anything to get involved in the space, to do it on a ground level with the community. So that's just some background on us and the Canna-Club.
Wow, that's quite an introduction, and having followed your journey, I can understand it's been really busy for you, but some of the things for me that are really interesting that stand out there, just in terms of how long you've been at this, is, you know, just that towards the end of 2018 you entered this space, close on 3,000 members is remarkable, and you're obviously doing a really good job in terms of being able to service that many people. We love the NCOD model, and if there's anyone in the country that's running that model correctly, I'd have to give that accolade to you from the limited amount I know. So it's fantastic to hear some of those statistics. Great as well, Harry's, just the fact that you're involved in all of the spaces as GM, but more especially around the growing part of it. I think that's an important part of making sure good cannabis gets to our members. So moving along, thank you so much for the intro. Now, just to a slightly more personal level, share with us where your journey with cannabis began.
Okay, so yeah, I was probably about 15, 16, and I was in Bay College at the time. One of my good friends, Josh Coder, he was always hanging around me, and yeah, me and him we knew some people that were smoking. Actually, Winston was one of the guys that lived in the Plet region. He was always working with my dad, and he was always smoking. So we approached Winston and we asked him, hey Winston, what is this? What's it all about? He explained the whole story to us, and then we said, okay, no, we have to try this, and started off with just one joint now and then, and pretty quickly grew to an all day, every day experience. Yeah, not long after that we started growing. The first 10 grow operations was a colossal failure. And yeah, I have to give props to all the Rastas that were in the area at that time, because if it wasn't for them, none of us would have even been able to get weed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they kept it alive, and they taught us all how to grow and how to smoke and how to all this stuff. So massive props to them. And yeah, I guess it's just like everybody else. Just if you try a little bit of weed and you like it, and you try some more and more and more.
Personally, I started quite late in my life. I hear a lot of people that say no, they started in their teens. Grew up a very conservative, like Christian type of upbringing. So only once I left the house at the age of 21 years old, I started consuming cannabis. And gradually I discovered that the plant accesses other dimensions of thinking, and I started utilizing that in a way of aiding myself in the creative process. So I always saw it as an instrument to enhance my abilities in ways where it can be productive. And with that, I would just like to add my journey on how I ended up becoming part of the team here at the Canna-Club, because this is home. I was doing freelance work in Plettenberg Bay, doing websites and freelance design work, and this being one of the first clubs in the area, I was really intrigued by that, so I came and visited the Canna-Club. I met up with Herman, our CEO, and he offered me some freelance contract work to start developing the website. At that time there was a need for that. And we just had a beautiful chemistry going on, where we see that we really are super productive together. And he ended up inviting me to become part of the team, because we started working like 3-4 days a week, so it seemed like a more viable option to do this more on a permanent basis. So yeah, I've been privileged to then join the team, and now this is, we live, breathe and sleep cannabis, you know. This is a big passion for us, and we are very passionate about moving this thing forward.
So, I mean, that resonates with me fantastically. Harry's going back to also being 16. I think, first of all, that shout out to Winston is an important one. I have one or two Winstons somewhere in my past as well. And that you've carried on from there, and this is now the industry that you're working in, I think is fantastic. And to lead on to you, Bertie, having gone and arrived at the Canna-Club and being able to just take your journey further in the way that you wanted to. And I agree with you. For me, that was one of the biggest things that cannabis brought to me. It was opening up different ways of thinking, different levels of creativity, introspection, stuff like that. So I completely buy into that. And you certainly have made a massive difference within the podcasting space, and more especially at the Canna-Club. So it certainly looks like a fantastic fit, and yeah, keep up the good work that you're putting out. Also the reference to the Rastas and the community work, I mean it's an important part of our journey. There's got to be an inclusive space, and where we can do things for other people within the cannabis space, we should absolutely be doing that. So to get a little bit more specifically into the podcasting space, where and how did that journey begin for the two of you? And did you have any experience before you started on the journey within the cannabis industry?
Okay, so that is a solid no for the both of us. So that's the interesting part of our journey, is when we initially started, as I say, we started off with the website and all the basic media stuff, and we just thought, this is so incredible what we're busy with. We have to capture it. Even
we have to share it with people. Yeah.
Exactly. We have to put it in a time capsule and lock it up and keep it there forever for everyone to see. Because if we're not going to do it, if we're going to be stopped by not having the right equipment or the right skills, then we would completely miss out on that opportunity. So we just decided to. I remember when we started off, we still used an old shitty phone.
On our very first video we made, we were both so camera shy. We tried to run away every time we hit the record button. We would hide and quickly say something and run, you know, because neither Bertie or myself, we're not really people that like camera time and photos and stuff. But like Bertie said, it was such a special time that we wanted to, even if it was just for ourselves, we wanted to keep those memories and those things that we were busy with forever, you know. And then it kind of just grew from making it something for ourselves into sharing our point of view of the cannabis space out there. We also wanted to do promotional work for clubs because we knew how hard it was to get your name out there. So we wanted to help these clubs to get their name out there and just do extra work and just make the content available.
And also share some insight on what's happening within the cannabis community, because we see these clubs pop up on Facebook and all that, but we thought it would be beautiful if you can have a hands-on experience. We have open conversations with these people. We physically visit their clubs and see what the experience is like, and to be able to share that with all our viewers and the community out there.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the beginning there was no prior experience or anything, and it took. We're still learning every day. Every time we make a video and everything, we're still learning new tricks and new things, and you know that'll be an ongoing experience, probably forever.
Which creates a beautiful recipe, if I might add. It keeps it very organic and natural, because there's never any acting involved or any pre-stage or directing. We just capture it as naturally as we can, and we compile our content from there.
So it's so interesting just listening to the other side of the camera that you've been on, and it's been quite a journey. And I must say to you, you've done a massive favor to as many as the clubs that you've visited. You've put them on the map. You've always been able to give a view of what their story is, what their environment's like, but you've carried on with trying to spread the word and create that journey in a positive way, and I think you've done outstanding when it comes to that. So that leads me to my next question. There you had sort of an agenda. Aside from things like events coverage, how do you decide on what the topics are to cover each week?
That depends on what's going on within our space. Sometimes there's not a lot of events and we can't afford to drive around to go see places and things like that. Then we focus more on the in-house stuff that is happening on the farm. Because we do have a lot of interesting stuff that we're always busy with. So that is one backing that we have. Other than that, we try and cover as much as possible. We try and not exclude anybody. So anybody that's busy with anything in the cannabis space, we'd like to get their story onto our channel. That's our approach to it. I have to also say, sometimes we don't 100% agree with their way that they see things, but from our perspective, we're not there. When we go and visit these places, we're not putting our word out. We're busy putting their word out, and we're just going to visit them, just to get their perspective onto and out. So we're not there to change their perspective or to enforce our perspective. We're just there to get their perspective out.
And there's one small thing I want to add on that, Harris, on the topic of planning and all that. We've often iterated how beautiful our content always tends to kind of fall in place organically, depending on what's happening at the time, the flow and order of the episodes is almost like we couldn't have planned it better as it naturally unfolded.
And sometimes at the beginning of the week, we don't even know what we're going to launch that week, but then just something will happen in that week that's like, wow, okay, no, this is the perfect opportunity. Let's make it happen. So you just got to be ready for it, pretty much.
Yes, and like from my side, we always plan ahead like 2 weeks time, so we make sure that we never really run out of content, that we always got a little bit of a planning ahead.
Yeah, we also release our videos only 2 weeks behind time.
So, yeah, sometimes even more.
Sometimes even 3-4 weeks. So it'll be a little bit ahead with our editing and with our creating of the videos.
Yeah, I completely feel your pain. The idea of needing to have something go out every week is quite a challenge, and I think you really pull off some miracles with keeping it going. I think that for me, I'd like to first compliment you and say, in my mind, you've covered more kilometers and or editing hours than anyone else in our local industry. Tell us a little bit about the notable places or highlights that you've had over the journey.
Well, thank you for noting that we have covered a lot of kilometers. We have been traveling up and down and trying to, like we said, we're just trying to put the coverage out there and include as much people as possible. To get to the second part of the question, it's a very hard one to answer because each place is so unique, and every place has got their own different, their own special quality about them. So everyone's slightly different, and people always in their, in their category, they always do really well. But to put an overboard thing like that is very, very hard. From my side, there's a couple of events that have stood out really, like that's done right, which is the East Coast Cannabis Cup. That is probably the best cannabis event that I've been to so far.
And then from like a media perspective, I know where it all started gaining a lot of momentum. I think it was during 2021, me and Harris committed to our first road trip to head through to Pretoria side, Johannesburg.
Pretoria side, tiny town, DeJoy. We did a whole range of clubs there in that area, and they were all amazing. They were all fantastic and beautiful.
And that gave us a lot of insight on what the club scene is like out there, and how committed this community is, towards making it work.
That's the first time we worked with Rory.
Yeah, that's also the first time we worked with Rory.
We went to go see 420 Central, which was also a beautiful, amazing place, So, yeah, it's really hard to choose one that is the best. It's actually impossible. But yeah, some ones that you just have to go and see is those ones that we have now already mentioned. And in Cape Town, which were the best ones there? There was the pot, what was that?
So we went to Cape Town. This is just a little small interesting story. We went to visit Nature's Pharmacy, and we did beautiful interviews there, which we never managed to even air because of a small logistical error from my side at one of these Eastern Coast wacky woods parties. Jumped into the pool. And then I went into the pool, and then we just managed to lose a lot of our
footage and our voice recordings and stuff like that went missing, so we couldn't really air a lot of it. But still, the experience at these places were amazing.
And we did manage to air like 80% of it, but like the only episode we lost were Nature's Pharmacy, but that also stood out to us because up until that point we visited mostly Grow on Africa clubs, so it was also interesting for us to see how people do it from another perspective. Another one was Cannabistas, which is also not affiliated with one of those networks.
Complete different mindset and different way that they do things, but still nice and clean. You know, can't really fault the place on anything. Yes, I'm just trying to remember, what's that place where there was the rosin factory, which was, what's his name?
The rosin factory, yes, Just Cannabis. Gerard van Niekerk.
Gerard, that was amazing experience. That one was really, really cool. I seriously suggest, if you guys are going to go to Cape Town, go check that out. Gerard will probably make you so goofed. You freaking can't.
I must be honest, when we first stopped there, it's like in a little industrial area, I thought like, this is probably, are we sure about this? This is probably one of the most dodgy places we've been to. But once we've spent a little bit of time there and understood the dynamics of what's going on there, we were really amazed by just the heart of the community, and as I say once again, the commitment towards making it work and all the input that's happening.
So yeah, you can tell from a mile away, any of these places, you can tell that these people, they're not doing it part-time. This is full on, this is their livelihood, this is their everything, you know, and they do it right, nice and clean, not lazy, or everything is by the book and properly, you know.
Progressive, there's constantly progression moving forward and development. So
then there's one that we must also mention on this list is Sweetwater's.
Of course.
Sweetwater's amazing. Shannon, those guys, they're doing some insane stuff there. When we were there the last time, it was like some of the most healthy plants I've ever seen with there, and not just one or two, but like ample. There was enough there, eh? And just beautiful. If anybody ever goes past the Bathurst area, get a hold of Shannon and them. Ask them see if you can get a tour from them, because that's really a facility that's a must see.
What I also enjoyed about that tour was the whole dynamic of being a bus filled with people, and it was like now it's not just me and Aris, now it's like a whole group.
Everybody, there's a whole cannabis community traveling together, you know.
So that was fun.
Yeah, that was very nice. But yeah, if we remember of anything else that we missed out, or if it is anybody that we missed out, we feel terribly sorry about it. Like I said, there's just too many really good ones to mention all of them.
And we're still planning many exciting excursions for the future, you know. We'll be interested in seeing, as I say, some of these, more of the clubs that aren't affiliated necessarily with any networks, such as High Street, we know is a new upcoming movement which we really are interested in visiting in the future.
And we want to work with it. We want to come and see all the high street clubs ourselves. Want to be there and just get the full experience, the full experience and energy behind it. You know? Massive respect to Rory and Dee for sorting that out.
And also to you, Mash, for making these beautiful productions. I've noticed that High Street, or your channel is 420 Central, that you guys have come up with also a beautiful channel with content that is curated and put together very professionally.
It's not always easy to keep it flowing, and sometimes the pressure is on, but well done, man.
Yes.
No, hats off to you.
So you definitely have covered a hell of a lot of distance, and the highlights for me, there's one that sneaks through there, which is going to have a look at that fantastic facility in Bathurst, and I think the Bathurst show, which you guys have just covered and been at, certainly everything we've seen points to the fact that it's a really nice organised show. We're certainly looking forward to the East Coast Canna-Cup that's coming up in a couple of weeks' time. It's the 3rd year in a row, so hats off to them for pulling that off. In terms of the club space, I think there are amazing clubs out there. You mentioned them, Tiny Town, Dead Joint. There's several of them within that fraternity that I think are commendable. People are doing an awesome job. There's people that are running their own show, like the Canna-Club, and there's other persons that are running their own models and or their own show or their own shop with their own ideas. And I think as long as people are being sensible, they're being responsible in terms of where the cannabis comes from, that you have a membership structure, those are all important things. Other than that, be in the industry, help to grow this industry. The rules have not been clarified. Let's be smart, let's be sensible and grow this space. In terms of the High Street journey, gee, thank you very much. You certainly have been part of that from right back in the beginning, traipsing all over town to come and hear about the story. So thank you for that, and we'd love for you to pop up and come and visit a couple of the High Street stores and or the affiliates that are starting to be part of our support structure.
Thanks for allowing us this opportunity to feature on your channel.
Yeah, thank you for making us a part of it. We do appreciate it, and yeah, you guys are always welcome to call on our button. We want to work with you guys on this journey. We're all in this together. So, like Bertie said, just thank you very much, and hopefully we'll see you guys in person soon.
So this episode and this interview with the two gentlemen is to be continued. It's a super weekend ahead. The weather's starting to turn a little cold, so keep warm. Make sure you got enough cannabis to keep you company for the weekend. Hook up with some friends or some family and some loved ones. And that's all for us for now. No news this weekend because we've had such a full show. Ciao for now.